6 weeks after taking charge, Darryl Powell sends his men out for his home debut as the Castleford coach. Powell watched them from the terraces here as a fan in the 1980s. 4 games in the Powell era so far, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 defeats at Leeds and in Perpignan against the Dragons. Both of them, with a little bit of luck and a little rub of the green, might easily have been victories. They're actually aiming the Tigers for a 3rd home win in a row, because caretaker coach Danny Orr led them to wins here against Widnes and Hull Kingston Rovers. Beaten 52-0 by Hull in March. Can they turn things around under the control of the whistle of referee James Child? The Black and Whites will attack as we watch from right to left in this first half. It's going to be Joe Westerman back on familiar territory, a young player of the year when he was here at the Castleford Tigers all those years ago. We're underway on a Friday night, Hull against Castleford, and a vital game for the Black and Whites, and one that Castleford want to impress in.
Certainly will, and you mentioned the fact the new coach Darryl Powell, I must say in the short time that he's been here, they've got a lot better shaped, a lot better in defence, and you just get the feeling that they've got to get that tempo right. They play okay for passages 15-20 minutes, but you've got to play the entire 80, and he certainly brought that to him. But it's going to be a battle in the forwards to take control.
Ryan Boyle is the man who's carrying it forward there for the Castleford Tigers. There is Adam Milner. It comes back with a little juggle by Jordan Tansey. Not a bad kick from Tansey, actually. This will skip away, and that was very close to being a 40-20. It just went the wrong side of the line, and Hull have the head and feed, as James Child indicates.
Well, they'll be relieved about that, because it was a bobbling ball that went back to the full-back Tansey. He got himself sorted out, and you can see there that he was lucky, just licked off. Well caught.
Catches this cleanly, it probably is a 40-20.
Yep.
As it is, it's the first touch of the ball with the hands of Jacob Miller. He feeds the scrum, and that's a reception committee for Joe Arundel, who of course is the former Castleford man. He's back in the side tonight, timely, because he's missed the last 8. There's no Kirk Eamon.
Keep your eyes on Craig Hubie and Ryan Boyle, the 2 prop forwards. They'll want to mess it around. They'll make sure that it hurts the opposition.
Westerman on the break down the right-hand side. He's kept them open. It has support from Ben Crooks. And what a moment for Ben Crooks. His dad Lee, of course, a former Castleford captain, and Ben Crooks gets the Black and Whites underway in their first real attack, the first real threat on the Castleford Tigers line. He's got to be a candidate for Young Player of the Year, this fellow. It was won by Lee, that accolade, in 1985. Could easily be following in father's footsteps. And Ben Crooks gives Hull the perfect start.
Castleford, they won like this. It was a poor attempt by the second row, Oliver Holmes. And what great positioning there by this youngster, Jason Crooks. Tremendous play though, wasn't it? The break coming from Joe Westerman. Look at the control. Offloaded at the very last moment. And what a start for the visiting side. But the way that the former Castleford player, Joe Westerman, just cut them apart, left Oliver Holmes just grasping at thin air.
Well, 14 tries in all now for Ben Crooks this year. That's his 13th touchdown in the Super League. He's also made 13 clean breaks, Hull's best in that department. It has been a sensational year so far for 19-year-old Ben Crooks. Here's Holsworth to add the extras, which he does, and Hull are ahead by 6 points to 0.
Well, I guess some tries when you look back are preventable, and this was clearly one of them. If you have one-on-one misses in defence, there's not really a lot you can do. I suppose we're shining the spotlight on Oliver Holmes there, but a one-on-one miss by a former Castleford player on a former Castleford player, I should say, allows Ben Crooks to score a very, very simple 6 points. Castleford need to make it more difficult than that for the Hull side to score. That's an obvious statement, but one that Castleford, I'm sure, have just reiterated to themselves.
Well, Peter Gentle, watching on, will be delighted with the start his team have made. Of course, in 3 weeks' time, they are down in the south of France again for a very important Challenge Cup quarter-final. And who knows, 1 or 2 of the stars who are missing tonight might have played against Darryl Powell's team had Peter Gentle not had the faith in the team that he has selected here tonight. And they've certainly given him a tremendous start. 4 minutes gone, they're ahead by 6 points to nil. Holsworth from inside the 40. He was under pressure from Wella Haraki. Got the kick away though. Horrible bounce. Oh, and he runs that straight back in, does James Clare. And Danny Houghton stood his ground.
Certainly a good hit as well from the hooker, Danny Houghton.
Shenton doesn't make too many metres forward.
Interesting thing about the fact, you remember there was Oliver Holmes that just couldn't get his position right. And I'm sure that Daryl Powell will be aware of that. And Hull, their coach, Peter Gentle, they'll try to run at him. In the next 10 minutes, he'll be a bit unnerved.
Eddie, James Clare had a difficult game against Hull FC when they met at round 6. He was targeted with the kicking game from Hull FC. If he intends to rectify that and redeem himself tonight, well, he started in the perfect possible way with that last run out of defence.
That was a speculator that was flung out the back door and found Oliver Holmes. And he is grounded midway inside the Hull half of the field. Milner again will give it to Rangi Chase. And he then pops the ball up to Nathan Massey, announced on Wednesday a new one-year deal agreed for that young man here at the Tigers. Chase puts the short ball into Grant Millington.
Great work by the second row, Richard Whitey. He knew exactly Rangi Chase was going to just peel that pass off short.
And it's on the last tackle, so the ball goes to the air, looking for Richard Owen. Oh, it's come up for him! It's come up for Richard Owen! This is going to be a try, providing he's onside. And that was the question that James Child asked his touch judges either side. They couldn't give him the definitive answer, so Phil Bentham has to do it. Oh, and he's well onside.
Yeah, no problem about that at all. And I reckon he pinches this. I reckon Richard Owen just pinches this right off the winger. Never really got to it, did he? No, he had control. That's a great take. Beautiful kick there by Rangi Chase, and this will come up at the TRY.
Yes, Jason Crooks has had his pocket picked by Richard Owen. He's back in the side after missing the last 7. His first appearance since the home win here against Widnes in April. 2 tries that night, 1 already tonight.
There's a 6 to go. Just touched it, didn't he? No doubt about it. Mark O'Mealy got the fingertips to it, but it was Rangi Chase that put up a superb run there. Crooks was on the way down, whilst a man called Richard Owen was on the way up. Just went a little bit too early, did Crooks. It was only a fraction, but that's all it takes. Surely Dixon can add the extras. I reckon we're in for a point-a-thon tonight, fellas.
Looks like it. Dixon, the former Hull winger, good goal kicker, solid. That kick scores a level. It's 6 points apiece. And by the way, we've just seen tonight the first score for Hull, bringing up their 10,000th point in Super League since they joined the elite in 1998.
Well, I said before the game, Hull don't miss many tackles, but you can score tries without your opponents missing one, and they've shown perfectly there with a great kick. The accuracy of it invited Richard Owen to jump higher than his opponent, and now the side are back on level terms and have easily made up for that early error.
6-all then, and well, here you know, there have been 14 previous meetings on this ground. Castleford have had 6 wins, Hull have had 7. There's been 1 draw in 2003, 10 years ago. 26 points all. And the way this has started, 6-all, I think we might be in for a treat this Friday night. Chase gets the ball away again to Oliver Holmes, but this time he's grounded on tackle number 4, just the Hull side of his own 40-metre line. Boyle will drive it forward again. Came back to Castleford from Salford in April. Jake Emmett travelling the other way, and Chase's kick goes around the outside of Shannon McDonnell, who is content to allow the ball to run dead in goal.
He'd be disappointed with that. He didn't get enough backspin on it, just a touch too heavy, but a lot of coaches, they're quite happy to get them on the 30-metre line when they take the tap, the opposition on that 20.
As I say, Hull travel back to Perpignan in the Cup in 3 weeks' time. Top 4 in Super League not out of the question. A big finale to 2013 is certainly on the cards for Hull FC, but they will look at this match and they will believe, when you look at the tables, the placings in the tables, that this is one that they should win. But Castleford won't lie down.
Well, if Hull are realistically ambitious enough to get to a final idea, this is one they have to win. That's a misdirected pass, which eventually finds Jason Crooks on the wing. But again, I don't think they quite have the fluency or accuracy attacking out wide, Brian, as some of the other top sides in this competition.
You're absolutely right, Phil. They're desperately trying to get Jacob Miller and Daniel Holdsworth working together. I see Miller looking at Holdsworth, asking for the shade, and they're trying to put on that big shift play, but they haven't done enough work in the middle of the field. So when ball eventually does go wide, Castleford easily able to snuff it out.
Well, a good kick by Jacob Miller.
Under great pressure from Adam Milner, wasn't he?
Yep, and stood his ground, got it away. That lift his confidence. It's always difficult when you come over from another country to settle in. He's been waiting a while for his visa. It's finally been sorted out.
To finish off that point, Eddie, they need to get a quicker play of the ball and leave some Castleford Tigers on the ground before they start to shift it out wide. Castleford are too set and well able to deal what Hull FC are throwing at them.
Darryl Powell, his first home game, he of course was in charge of Featherstone when they knocked Castleford out of the Challenge Cup last year. He left Rovers after 5 years there. They topped the table three times in succession actually, 2010, 11 and 12. They lost only 5 times in those 3 seasons. Without a doubt, the best coach outside of the Super League till he came across here to the Castleford Tigers to replace Ian Millwood. Here's Jordan Tansey. This goes high. Now then, they've gone this way before. Oh, and Shannon McDonald's dropped it. It goes backwards, though. Crooks to the rescue this time.
Good work by the winger, okay. He got beaten to the ball for the Owen try, but the fullback couldn't take it, but the winger puts himself in a good position. That's what all good wingers should do, just in case it comes free, and it did.
Well, in a game of rugby league, each team kicks the ball about 20 times. The effect and outcome of those kicks very often determines who wins. Just at the end of the game, you can't quite remember every single kick, but the ones from Castleford have been dangerous and problematic for Hull to deal with.
Yes, you can see Darryl Powell's game plan, can't you? Get to the 5th and hoist it high, and let's see what we get. Miller inside his own 40, but that's very well cut out on the run by Jordan Tansey, and Tansey will run it back.
Yeah, he's settled into the fullback position exceptionally well as Tansey.
Only as far as Arundel, though, brings him down. Shenton is the dummy half, and he takes the return. But he wasn't making much ground forward. He had to run laterally across the face of the Hull defence.
That's good play.
Excellent run from Millington.
Quick play the ball, that's what's needed.
James Clare it was, sorry. Here is Milner. And Dixon will play the ball quickly, he hopes, to Rangi Chase. And Chase will skip away from a couple. Gets the pass out on the bounce to Clare, and Lyman came in very heavily. Swinging arm, and he didn't like it, didn't Clare? Here we go again, last tackle, so up we go off the boot of Chase this time.
Oh, he's going to let it bounce.
No, it's too deep.
It can go anywhere, can a rugby league ball? There's the swinging arm from Tom Lynham. Didn't make contact. Probably the only reason why James Child, the official, ignored it. Oh, that's a swinging arm, surely, and that's been missed.
There's Ryan Boyle on Lynham. That was a little bit of afters, maybe, for the incident we've just replayed.
It's been pretty clear from Hull that they want their outside backs, the fullback as well, to get the side up to the halfway line before the rest of the team get involved. They're rolling forward very easily over the halfway line there with the hooker Houghton.
Miss Houghton is grounded in the end by Holmes. There is Daniel Holdsworth. And Holdsworth looks to his right-hand side and finds Westerman, Dixon, and Boyle deal with the threat from him. Holdsworth, here's Jacob Miller. Pops the ball up then, does Miller to Chris Green. He finds Houghton, finds Holdsworth. And Holdsworth gives it then to Jay Pitts. Pitts goes down just shy of 20 metres away from the Tigers' line. Here's Miller, and he gets caught in possession.
Well, that's the confusion that you're going to get in his first game. And he knows it, Peter Gentle, that they should have had Daniel Holdsworth there. Take control. They needed a kick. They needed to apply the pressure. But he'll learn, Will Miller.
Well, Jacob Miller on debut here tonight. He is a 20-year-old. He starred for West Tigers as they won 2 of their first 4. this year. He was captain of the under-20 side that won the grand final at that level last year. He could be the man to give the black and whites a big lift towards the back end of the season. Arundel was looking to pinch that there from Shenton. Shenton hangs on. Here's Boyle again.
Good run as well from Boyle, but again, they need to be getting up a little bit more urgently than that.
Rangi Chase now. Just lays it off to Hubie. Oh, Hubie loses it forward. And Whiting takes it forward, holds onto it. No risk there, no risk-free play. Decided to hang on to the football. Yeah,
it was a poor offload by Craig Hubie, but I'm sure Darryl Powell will be quite happy with the fact that the likes of Hubie want to be looking to offload. Get back to his best that we saw 18 months ago.
Yeah, Craig Hubie, 11th season at Castleford. He's got tries in 2 of his last 3 appearances. Has to do a bit of defending here. Miller. Whoa, Miller with a great pass to Rangi Chase.
Yeah, he spotted it.
He was looking for the other number 6.
Yeah. But I can assure you that Rangi Chase read it perfectly. As soon as he did the step and then spun around to offload, he knew he could put himself in a good position. They're falling off the tackles of the black and whites. That was a gift, but well read.
Here they are now, Castleford, with Rangi Chase, who started all of this. Holsworth makes sure he doesn't make any more progress other than to the 40-metre line. He plays the ball to Huraki, finds Tanzi. And no way through for Massey.
This should be another high one.
It is, and it's another tester for Shannon McDonald. Shenton's after it, and Shenton is judged to have tackled Shannon McDonald in the air.
Yeah, he's got to wait until his feet hit the ground. He's too anxious there, and you see quite clearly he's made contact while the full-back is above terra firma. Well spotted by James Tyre.
Yeah, he just needed to show a little bit more patience. Eddie, Rangi Chase picked off an intercept play. I think Hull FC went through with the play that they had on, even though it broke down. They threw a pass that they shouldn't have. But they're going to have some luck against that left-hand edge for Castleford. They look twitchy. James Clare is shooting up. Rangi Chase, we know, shoots up. Kurt Dixon is over there. I think they're expecting some traffic tonight. Hull FC should not disappoint them. You'll get joy, Hull FC. Shift it to your right. Target the left-hand side of Castleford Tigers.
And that's a ball steal on Andy Lynch, who's just on the field. I think that was a call from the touch judge because the referee, James Child, couldn't have really seen this. Bala Haraki, the culprit.
No doubt about it. Halfback Haraki. Well done, the touch judge as well. It's great to see them combining with the official.
Well, we had 2 tries in the opening 7 minutes. It's settled down a bit, 6 apiece. Here's Miller. Miller then to Holsworth. Holsworth to Westerman. Dixon got to him, but he got the ball away to McDonald. Important tackle that was by Oliver Holmes. Ben Crooks, try scorer for the black and whites, to Holsworth. Here's Lynch, another one of these ex-Castleford men now plying his trade with the black and whites of the city of Kingston upon Hull. Miller to Holsworth. Holsworth to McDonald. He tries to step away from his opposite number, Richard Owen, and loses the ball in the process.
Great work by the winger. Richard Owen knew he came on the angle.
If he doesn't do that, Steve, they score. If he doesn't shut that down, Eddie, they score that try.
Good work.
You've got to keep possession. What a great tackle that was.
Tremendous tackle by Richard Whiting. He certainly felt that, did Adam Milner.
Well, Whiting will be happy that he's playing in the pack. Utilised him in the centres for many a day, and he's enjoying it back in the heavy work up front.
Jordan Tanzi, 150th career appearance for Tanzi, 31 of them for Hull in 12 months, 2001, 2010.
Move! 5, back up. Go on, milk it.
Milner, back it comes to Tanzi again. They're going to test McDonald once more.
Well taken.
And that was much better timed by Rangi Chase.
And that's all you need to do. Keep the opposition there, only 10 metres away from your goal line. Got to be careful now the Tigers don't get a little bit too excited. There's a couple moving before the official. The last thing the Tigers want to do is give away a silly penalty.
Other than the one bad mistake from Oliver Holmes when he missed a tackle on Joe Westman, it's been a good start from the home side. Good opening quarter, been very competitive here against a side who many people think will make the playoffs. And again, I reiterate what I said before the match. If Castleford get the majority of the ball in this game, Eddie, I think they're a great chance of winning it. They have to control it when they get it, and obviously then hope that the player combination can combine so that Rangi Chase can really show us his magic tricks.
Shenton picks up the ball from dummy half. Ball played to him by Richard Owen, who fielded the Jacob Miller kick downfield. Here goes Wella Huraki. Only Chase has made more than his 229 carries before tonight. Wella Huraki. He was actually sent off at Hull in March for fighting with Danny Tickle. We're not seeing round 2 tonight because Tickle is out of the side, injured, and of course Tickle on his way to Widnes for next year. Chase showed it, went over on that far side, applied the brakes, and in the end Miller came back and cut him down with help from Ben Crooks. Now Tansey again, another crossfield high kick to test this right-hand side. Shenton does well. It's on the last though, and it's very well defended. That well defended by Joe Arundel.
Would you say poorly executed though? Half of the Castleford team were offside in front of the kicker. They couldn't run and contest it, and the kick came down probably 10 metres from where it needed to land, Eddie. That needed to be nearer the try line to give themselves a chance. Pretty even game so far. Hull's better defence, that's not unusual to see that, but the Tigers have really made some good metres when they've carried the ball.
Well, I think, Phil, that the reason why the Castleford want to go into their left-hand defence is that they obviously feel that there's a little bit of a problem with Shannon McDonald, Crooks and the centre Joe Arundel in the fact that they can't handle the high ball.
It's a knock on. Oh, this is a harsh call on first glimpse, but it doesn't matter what we think or I think. It matters what the man in the middle, James Child, thinks. Now, was this...
Well, the thing is, Eddie, is that he had his hand, Hubie had his hand on the ball, and you're not supposed to do that when a man's trying to get up and play the ball.
That's right, Steve-O. The tackle was called, and he's left his hand in on the ball, and he couldn't get the ball down on the ground, so the penalty is correct.
But harsh, Stuart. Bit harsh.
I don't agree. I don't agree. He knows he's got to get his hand out of there. We've seen it several times over the last few weeks where players are standing up and still in contact with the ball. They've got to get the hand out of there.
Fair enough, Whiting. Hull won't be complaining because here they are now 10 metres away from the Castleford line. Houghton to Miller in a bit of space. Just pops it up here for Andy Lynch. Lynch will back his way towards the Castleford Tigers try line. Houghton waits again. They're lined up both ways. They're going down the right-hand side with Miller. Short ball from Miller. Good hit by Dixon. And Holmes. Great defence on the run from Westerman. Houghton here. Oh, and a drop ball. A drop ball by Liam Watts.
First real opportunity for the big fella Watts to charge over. The one thing that's bothering me is that we've seen throughout this season that Danny Houghton, the hooker, has been scooting away from dummy half, and yet I've yet to see him run and ask the questions on the defence. Not happy, Peter Gentle, but is there a problem with Danny Houghton? Normally he's running all over the place.
Well, that try that we just referred to on that graphic there by Liam Watts, it was scored in almost that exact same position for Hull Kingston Rovers, and there was an element of controversy about it, if I remember rightly, as well.
To answer Steve-O's question, Eddie, I don't think there's anything wrong with Danny Houghton, Steve-O. It's just when his forwards are on top, that's when you see Danny Houghton go. I don't think they're getting on top of the Castleford players at the moment, and subsequently or consequently, Danny Houghton has decided not to run. He will pick his time, though, in the game.
Rangi Chase lays the ball off again. 4 tackles gone. He will get to his feet, will Ben Davis, the ex-Widnes man, who is here on his second debut. Saints 12-0 up against Salford.
I'm impressed with Castleford. They really are in good shape.
That's a nice little dink into the in-goal area. Now there's work for Lynham to do. The big fella does it too.
Does he ever? There was plenty there, wasn't there?
You know, 1% extra effort from the Castleford defenders, and that's a goal line dropout. And that's when the top sides, you hear the best players talking about 1% extras. An extra effort there to chase that kick as though the game depended on it, Eddie, would have got Castleford the ball back.
Houghton will scoot from dummy half.
That's better. That's what's needed.
He gets them to halfway. Referee shouts that the tackle is held. Down he goes on the 5th. So here comes the last. Holdsworth at dummy half. It comes to Miller, who'll pump it into the air and chase it himself. Richard Owen's coming across and collects it on the fly. Well, we're here tonight. Oh, and there's a penalty coming Castleford's way. We're here tonight. We're at Warrington on Monday for one of the games of the season. The Wolves against the Warriors. Sky Sports 1 HD at 7:30. I don't know what you do these days on a Monday night in the summer, but don't miss that.
Well, Miller certainly didn't miss it, did he? And Owen would have felt that. Bit of frustration with the fact that the kick from the man who's done the tackle, Jacob Miller, was a little bit too strong. He's got to get a little bit more height. It'll take him a while to settle in.
The question for everybody to answer, of course, is how long will Jacob Miller last? He was on the plane, what, about 4 or 5 days ago?
I think he'll last the whole game.
He probably wouldn't have gone steerage like us, will he? He'd have been up the front.
I think we've got a longer term than just tonight to give a judgment on Jacob Miller. Don't forget, for probably 5 or 6 years, Hull have struggled with having to recruit a half-back. They've tried Ryan McGoldrick, Sam Hobbs, Adam Dykes, Matthew Head, 4 players from overseas, Australian half-backs. None of them have worked for a variety of different reasons. I guess Miller will be given longer, and the owners will be hoping that this time they've got it right.
Well, he's young enough, isn't he? There's no doubt about that. Miller, only 20 years of age, 2.5-year deal.
Still learning the game.
Chase to Jordan Tansey.
I think what Peter Gentle, the whole coach, though, has to make sure of it. It's okay saying we'll give Jacob Miller time to settle in, but he's got to get a message out and say, look, Daniel Holdsworth, you start taking control. You've got to be the boss out there.
He's completely unflappable, isn't he, Peter Gentle? You don't see him up on his feet and punching the air with delight when they score tries. You don't see him banging the top of his desk when they make a mistake. Same for Darryl Powell. So far, anyway.
Did that look, Brian, to you, that kick that 1 or 2 players probably should have made the effort to get there?
Well, I think, Phil, the way Rangi Chase let that fall off his boot, I think he was trying to get that arcing around to some of his runners on the left-hand side. He ended up hitting it too square. It's gone too far. I think he was looking for that sort of right-to-left arc. We're giving his chances a chance, or his chases a chance.
Holdsworth comes wide to Jason Crooks. Crooks cuts inside, flicks the ball back to nobody, and that's a gift for Grant Millington. And he evades 2 defenders.
Well, what on earth?
Makes good meters forward.
Yeah, but what on earth are they thinking here? That's sheer, it's just sheer panic. They've had very little opportunity down the other side, and they're just throwing the ball away.
There must have been some conversation in the week that says we've got to take some chances, keep the ball alive, and he's got that at the wrong time. I agree with you, Eddie. The Grant Millington, number 13 for Castleford, has had a brilliant opening 25 minutes. The black and white players struggling to put him to ground.
Salford battling back against the Saints. 26 minutes gone here, 6 apiece. Chase tries to get the Tigers going down the left-hand side. Brought to ground on the last. Tansey again looks this way with the high kick. Looking for Richard Owen again. Oh, and Richard Owen got a real belt then as he went for that in the air, and he's down.
He went in very awkward.
McDonald's on the break for the black and whites. Oh! He's left Tansey for dead. McDonald hasn't got the pace. Clare's after him. He's going 360. And they eventually get him down in the shape of Craig Hubie.
Tom Lynham was screaming for the football.
Here's Whiting. Whiting comes wide and finds Jason Crooks. And he's halted by great defence, and Richard Owen is still at the other end of the field receiving treatment. They're a man shy in defence here of the Tigers. Liam Watts will take it in.
Well, they've actually blown the chance.
Oh, and this ball has been stolen as Richard Owen makes his way back. The ball was stolen on the ground by Ben Davis.
Well, it makes you wonder whether they gave away that penalty on purpose, because they realised that Richard Owen was way up the other end of the field, and there's no doubt it was reefed out.
And unsurprisingly, they're tapping it and they're running it with Lynch. And in the end, Davis, the man who gave away the penalty, brings him down. Houghton is a dummy half. Fooled everyone then and goes right and finds Whiting. Whiting puts his head down, gets it back to Houghton. He finds Westerman. Holdsworth over the top. Touched in midair by James Clare. 6 to go here.
Yep.
And they keep it alive to Holdsworth. Here's Andy Lynch Thought about the short ball, didn't go around the back of his own man, so it is play on, and Lynch will get them again to within a half a metre of the line.
Second phase in attack, they've got to make it.
It's with Miller to Holdsworth, quick pass, McDonald hangs on with his fingertips. McDonald, who started all this mayhem up this end of the field, he goes down, eventually. Houghton once more, 10 metres out. A drive in from Watts. Watts will take a few with him, but he's brought to ground underneath the posts.
Houghton on your own, throw the dummy, no, short.
Gives it to Lynch, Lynch out the back door to Houghton again, Houghton then to Miller. Miller goes wide, and Westerman loses it forward to Chase. That's sensational Tigers defence.
Boy, talk about team spirit, and
Two fens on Joe Westerman. He's challenged Joe Westerman twice, Eddie. Two fens, boom, and then a ball around the corner from Rangy Chase, 10 metres off his own line.
Was that the no-risk play? Well, that was that a knock-on, wasn't it, by Hull?
No, the referee's called that his first tackle.
Okay.
Well, they've absolutely bombed that opportunity. When Shannon McDonald went through, he was sidestepping, he was skipping around. Look at that, the pass from the outside.
Oh, big long kick downfield. Bad bounce for the Tigers. Well, it's a rip-roarer of a game. 6 apiece, 29 minutes gone.
Yeah, defence really on top there by the Tigers. That is one thing that Darryl Powell will be ever so pleased about.
And Bengalir is out there to try and add his weight to the Hull proceedings. He'll play the ball to Houghton, and he will find Liam Watts, who gets the pass away. And Richard Whiting is underneath it. He'll play the ball. Miller, Holdsworth.
Oh, he was taken out there. Jacob Miller just offloaded the ball. He was very late. They've got the overlap.
They have. This is a Arundel, and Tansey gets to him, and he's finished off by Haraki. And it's the turnover.
It was on the last who went for the power play.
They've defended brilliantly again of the Tigers.
You know, going into this game, I thought one of the teams is going to show us that they're a chance to get into Old Trafford, and the other team, well, their season was over and they couldn't get to the playoffs. I can't tell you now, 20, 30 minutes in, who's who, Eddie. This is a rip-roar.
It is. It's a tremendous game. The problem for Castleford is they had that dreadful run, didn't they, earlier in the year? Was it 9 games straight? Couldn't find a win, couldn't buy a win. But they might buy a win, they might find a win tonight in this one. Although there's another Castleford player down, I think it's Iraqi in back play.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be around. He looks extremely dazed. This is going to bounce. Oh, it still stayed in.
I think that was another 40-20 attempt. And was that Rangy Chase who kicked that? I think it was. Just the bounce of the ball beat him.
It's the second occasion where the ball has bounced back towards the Tigers.
Well, the feeling in the ground is that Castleford are emotionally in charge here at the moment, isn't it? They certainly leading the meters, certainly running particularly well in that particular part of the field. But Hull, you'd say, doing pretty well in everything else. It's just whether they can ride through this emotional storm that Castleford Tigers are throwing at them at present. They've
There's a big
breaks,
blow.
but haven't scored points.
There is a big blow for the Tigers because Wella Haraki looks like he is leaving the field. I suppose it will mean the likes of Darryl Clark comes on, but meanwhile this is Watts. He's got Jeremiah, and Jeremiah will go in for the Black Watts. Aaron Jeremiah. He was a substitute against the Castleford Tigers in March in the home game as well. And having started the last 2 at scrum half against Leeds and the Catalan Dragons, he comes off the bench for Peter Gentle tonight and gives them the lead, the lead again.
Beautiful little offload here from Lynch. Watch this, bang, straight onto it. Got the support, draws the full back. And that was finished off well, but watch this little pass from Lynch. Came straight through. Back on the inside. Well, Watts did everything right here. But the pass to him from Lynch was out to the top drawer. He kept his cool. Well, he's repaid the faith, hasn't he? Remember, Peter Gentle sent him out there. First time he touched the ball, he knocked on. Not on that occasion. There's the try scorer. But the skill factor from the prop forward, Andy Lynch, he'd only travelled a few inches, but it was enough.
Yeah, Lynch making his 50th appearance for Hull against his original club. Oh, but Holsworth, who kicked one from that range and that angle to improve the Ben Crooks try. He can't find the mark on that occasion, so it's Jeremiah's try and a little bit of brilliance from Andy Lynch that separates the two teams.
Yeah, superb. I love to see it from forwards. They're not all barge and get the toughness into them. Real quality.
And if you watch a lot of Super League, you see a lot of back-to-back tries. Teams scoring and then in the next 6 players scoring again, or possibly penalty and then a score. This next 60 seconds is massive here for the Tigers. The concentration has to be at its very best, as it was in the first minute.
Whiting will take it forward for Hull FC. The 2005 Young Player of the Year, Richard Whiting, by the way. Versatile, dependable.
Well,
Some good adjectives to describe that young man.
Yeah, certainly, Eddie, but you know, well, that's a nice kick. That is a lovely kick.
Daniel Holsworth.
Well, I indicated that Peter Jenner had to get the word out and say, hey, come on, you're the boss out there. And he certainly has proved it on that occasion. That's all you need. Turn them around, especially after you've just scored a try to take the lead yet again. The most amazing thing about it, Castleford, they haven't had one clean break. Okay, they scored the try from the kick. Whereas Hull, they've had 4. And they've succeeded in putting 2 tries on the board.
And we're about to enter the last 5 minutes of this first half. They haven't beaten Hull, by the way, Castleford, since an away win in April 2011, 20 points to 18. The last home win, July 2009, 40 points to 18. That, by the way, was their first home victory against the Black and Whites since 2004. And here they have coughed the possession up again, and Lynch has just dinked it over the top. He knows they're going to get the ball back here. That was the free play.
Boy, he created a try with a short pass. Now, Thompson loses possession. Well, before Crooks get to him, Lynch says, I'll have a little go. But they've all got to come back. Set the scrum.
I think it was Kirk Dixon who did a good job here on shepherding Lynch, Lynham rather, on the outside there. Look, just didn't alter his line though. That was the important thing.
Now look at the scrum setup here. They've got the full-back, one of the fastest backs, 2 players tucked in behind him. Ben Crooks, one of them. I think this ball will end up in Crooks' hands.
At the moment, it is with McDonnell. Oh, and he's jinking his way and trying to find a hole in the Castleford defensive line.
He's having a fine game.
Jeremiah. Oh, Galea! Important tackle that. Jeremiah again. Miller. Flat pass. Whiting trying to go round Thompson. Davis there as well, bringing him down. 3 tackles gone. Holsworth. Miller. Oh, he did well to hang on to that. And then almost lackadaisically, he gives it to Jeremiah, who's running flat and runs straight into Shenton. Arundel waits at dummy half, and he will give the ball here to Galea again. Ben Galea goes down on tackle number 5, 9 metres away from the Tigers' line.
This will be the kick. It has to be. And Holsworth's there.
And it's high and looking for Lynham, and he did well. He did well with James Clare. He had a nightmare under the high ball at the KC Stadium.
He's knocked on though.
Oh, now he's knocked on.
Yep. Sadly.
Oh, I was giving him so much praise then, because he did have a shocking game with the ball in the air at the KC Stadium, looking really, really shaky. Poor old James Clare, but that one would have given him confidence, and then look at this. Oh.
Yeah, just lost control of it. And that could shatter the lad's nerves. And he knows it. There's Darryl Powell.
Darryl Powell alongside him, Danny Orr, who was the caretaker in between times. But Castleford said it was too early for him to stick with the job full time. Happy to stick with the Tigers and learn under Darryl Powell. Oh, blood-busting run from Ben Crooks. Second try for Crooks. And the try is given from the base of the scrum, that was. And the mistake from poor old James Clare is even more expensive. And Crooks makes it try number 14. And this young man, he's playing in the centres, but he's hit this like a second row forward. And he's blitzed his way to the line.
Yeah, Clare comes up with a lost ball, gives them the opportunity. And this is smart work. This is very, very smart work by the Hull side. They knew that they were a little bit tentative because, remember, Clare had been a little bit upset about putting the knock on. So they worked on the blind side. Looked how it peels away, came on the angle, and Ben Crooks gets try number 2. Oh, I love to see it. You don't often see a set move from the scrum base, but the way that he peeled away and just offloaded to Ben Crooks.
And Holdsworth this time makes no mistake. And so it's 16-6 to Hull FC, a game that was locked up for so long at 6 apiece.
And very little in this game should be viewed in isolation, Eddie. Sure, there was a mistake from the winger, James Clare. They concede a scrum, there's 2 or 3 minutes to go, and it's 5 metres out or 10 metres out from their own line. It doesn't mean Hull FC score a try, especially off the first play off the scrum. Castleford should be furious with that defensive effort. Jordan Thompson hasn't covered himself in glory with his effort to try and get to Ben Crooks, who scored a relatively easy try from... You're right, Steve, it's nice to see a scrum play, but geez, you should be able to defend that.
Yeah, I'll give it a lot of credit, though, to Crooks, for the way that he came on the angle, but it was a peeling away from the scrum that completely bewildered the Tigers' defence.
Well, young Ben Crooks has scored 2 tries in a match this year on 4 occasions, and he's got 41 minutes or thereabouts to register his first ever hat-trick. And the chance, I'm sure, will come in the second half.
And again, good work by the winger, Richard Owen. He takes a huge gamble. He comes in on the angle there. He leaves a big overlap on that left-hand side where Hull are attacking.
Do we think that Castleford don't deserve a 10-point disadvantage at half-time?
No, they absolutely deserve to be 10 points behind. It's very rare the scoreboard is unfair to a team. But I tell you what,
it mightn't be.
Oh, great work by Holdsworth.
Oh, and that is good defence from Holdsworth. It was a great charge down. Davis was on his way, and Holdsworth, well, it was a mismatch in terms of weight and height, but Holdsworth made sure he pulled him down.
Well, that was a set pattern. Holdsworth was kicking over there, over the top for Jacob Miller, and it went straight in the hands of the Castleford player, and he was quick enough to turn around and just get the tackle in before the hooter went.
So the end of the first half, and 16-6 it is. Ben Crooks with the first and third try of this first half for Hull. In between times, Heremiah added 1 that Holdsworth didn't convert. That's the 16 points that Hull have scored. For Castleford, well, they trailed after 3 minutes, but after 6 minutes they were level. Richard Owen and the Dixon goal. But it's been Hull's first 40. They are ahead by 16 points to 6.